Hi, John. Two of Al Jazeera journalists were killed today in Gaza, Ismail Haniyeh and his cameraman Rami El-Rifi, in an Israeli airstrike. It was obvious they were journalists, everything was clear that they were journalists and were targeted. Are you condemning this, and do you have any other reaction regarding the killing of journalists? It's continuing since October 7th.
I don't have any specifics about this particular strike to speak to, so it's difficult for me to get into any detailed discussion of it. We obviously continue to not only recognize and honor the service that journalists do around the world, particularly in places like Gaza. It's very dangerous. It's a combat zone. We know that takes a special kind of bravery for a journalist to go on the ground in a place like that. And we want to make sure, as I think Karine has mentioned herself in just the last day or so, that press freedoms are observed and recognized and respected, and that reporters are allowed to do their job, and that includes covering the war in Gaza. But I just don't have any detail on this particular strike to be able to characterize it one way or the other. Obviously, our hearts go out to the families and all those who are touched and affected by this terrible loss.
John, I know we've talked about what you've said before about the temperature going down, but Secretary Austin also spoke about this and said that the sense was that the temperature was going down in the Middle East. So can you say to what extent this
doesn't help.
Was a surprise? Like was
these
the U.S.
reports these reports over the last 48 hours certainly don't help with the temperature going down. I'm not going to be Pollyannish about it. We're obviously concerned about escalation. And again, without confirming the reports over the last 24 in terms of Tehran, certainly the IDF has already spoken to operations that they've conducted elsewhere. All of this adds to the complicated nature of what we're trying to get done. And what we're trying to get done is a ceasefire deal that can get you 6 weeks in phase one, get a lot of hostages, the most at-risk, out of there and home with their families, and get some more humanitarian assistance in there. I know I keep coming back to that, but it's important that we do keep coming back to that, because that's what we're really trying to drive at. And if we can get to phase one, by God, we can maybe get to phase two. And if you can get to phase two, maybe you can get a cessation of hostilities. When you have events, dramatic events, violent events, caused by whatever actors, it certainly doesn't make the task of achieving that outcome any easier.
But, who is Israel supposed to negotiate with if the leader of Hamas is dead?
Again, I can't confirm the reports coming out of Tehran or Hamas's statements. We still believe there's a viable process. We still believe there's interested counterparts. And we still believe that there are meetings and discussions to be had. We wouldn't have a team over there right now if we didn't believe that it was possible to try to gather together and push this forward.
Okay.